Welcome back to Adoption Month in my office here. So, as I mentioned, we are focusing on adoption this month. So, I'm going to be dropping some serious adoption tips for all of you out there who are interested. One of the first things, though, we need to talk about is what is adoption? Who can adopt? And in the state of New Jersey, as long as you're over the age of 18, you can adopt. And adoption takes on many different forms. Some of my clients want to adopt their stepchild because the other parent is out of their lives, or we have same-sex adoption. I know this is Pride Month, and that may be relevant to many of you out there who want to adopt a child and you're in a same-sex relationship. And there's also just private adoption, where people agree to give up their child for adoption if they feel they can't raise it and they want to have another family adopt. Usually a married couple, they have to consent to adopting a child together. So in general, that's basically who can adopt in New Jersey. Now, there is a process involved in this, and most people, even if it's a step-parent adoption, have to go through what we call a home study. And that's where an agency who is tasked with going into the family's home wants to make sure that that home is appropriate for a child to be adopted. So that's one of the steps that families have to go through, even if it's a step-parent adoption. And then typically, a lot of adoption is done behind the scenes. If it is a contested adoption, however, then we actually have to go into court, and that's where the biological parent contests the other parent or step-parent or other person adopting a child. Those are actually pretty rare, but they do happen, and we've certainly handled cases like that. But most cases and most adoptions, either the other parent cannot be found, or is not interested in raising the child and agrees to give the child up for adoption, and they actually lose the right to inherit from that child, and their child loses the right to inherit from them. Now, another thing that's important to understand about adoption is that terminates the rights of a parent. So a lot of people say, look, I don't want to pay child support, I don't want to be responsible for a child anymore, and you can't just give up your rights like that. There's two ways to do that. And one is if you're involved with the Division of Child Protection and Permanency, and they actually terminate your parental rights. Or, and that's usually based on neglect, or if you decide to allow your child to be given up for adoption. That's the other way your rights are actually terminated as a parent. And there are certain documents you have to sign so that the court knows that you have understood that you're giving up your right to your child. And in that case, you no longer have to pay for child support. So adoption can be complicated. There are some issues that we understand, but a lot of them are going to be based on your particular situation. So if you are in the need or need to learn more about an adoption, stay tuned to my social media this month. We're going to feature a lot of legal tips about adoption. I'm going to have a fantastic interview that I'm keeping as a surprise for right now, but I definitely want to make sure that all of you out there are educated about this process. But if you need attention right now, we are here for you. Reach out to me on my website at www.lakeishadeanlaw.com. Again, that's www.lakeishadeanlaw.com, or give us a call, 856-359-5222. We'd love to help.